Okay, testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, testing, 1, 2. All right, everything seems to be on the up and up, so we'll go ahead and close this down. And then bring this back up here, and do this, and do this. And then I'll move this out of my way. And then we'll go here. So, hello. Oh, I also need to lock that into place so I don't mess it up. Hello, and welcome to Kasara's Casual Corner. I am Kasara. I'm going to turn my fan up because I am on fire. And I know it's going to cause a little bit of like ringing and whatnot, but it is so warm. And I know I'm like one of the only people that's like one of the few that's going to complain about it, but it is so warm. Okay, so that's why I'm going to find a, like, hopefully 2023 I'll have a better location for that fan so that it's not like directly in my microphone space. But for now, I appreciate you all being patient as you watch me literally like I'm glistening right now. Like that's how where I'm at. Okay, so there we go. Welcome to Kasara's Casual Corner. I'm Kasara, trying to like kind of cool down. I have like 3 different drinks here to try to make myself cool as we go. So don't you worry, we'll get there. We're continuing on, and hopefully the final installment of reading Posture Check already and Hydrate. Oh, we're already starting there, are we? Right off the bat, we must hydrate. All right. So we're starting off with hopefully the last little bit. We have 3 more chapters to get through in Kentucky Zero Dawn. And thank you, I appreciate that. No, I will be hydrating with or without channel point assistance, don't you worry. We got through the labyrinth to get to the 0, I believe it was, and then we discovered like all of those locations we found on the phone, those pretty places in the brochure and stuff and whatnot. And then we we've the from the first chapter back in when we first played the game, we know that Conway had a busted leg from having rocks fall on him. And in this chapter, this one Act 2 that we just finished, we discovered that we needed to get to a doctor. We found a quote village, museum village, I guess you can call it, and made our way through that village to the forest where the doctor now resides. The doctor gave apparently what seems like surgery to Conway, and yeah, and we left off right in there. So let's, without further ado, switch into game mode, and let's get this party started. You ready, Pedro, for the last of this? Me too. I am curious as to where on earth this is going to go. I know Jabrowski, as you can see in the title, is the one that recommended this game. But boy, there's two things with that. Knowing Jabrowski, it's a unique game that I did not think would come direct from him as a request game. So kudos to him finding this game for me, or requesting this game of me. And then two, what on earth is still happening? I'm not really sure I even have an answer. But we're going to continue. All right. So we have now completed the entertainment. We've completed chapter 2, act 2, I should say. So we are going to go to act 3. Here we go. I am ready. Bring it on. I may have to go turn off the heat. Well, not turn it off, just open a window. So birds chirping softly, morning bird songs. I'll move my microphone so I can see the subtitles. Or the closed caption, I should say. Or the subtitles. Radio announcer says, so that's the radio announcer. In case you missed it, 83 and sunny now. Looks like it's going to get up to about 101 by late afternoon in Louisville and 103 in E-Town. Not a cloud in sight, so get out those parasols. He follows that with major accident just ahead of the Bardstown exit. So if you're headed to work on the 31, you are late, my friend. Ha! This is Lisette. So it looks like we're in Conway's past because Lisette is the owner of that antique store that we learned about in Act 1. Lisette says, sugar? Let's see, choices, as it is or just a little? Just a little. Conway says, just a little. I forgot how you take your coffee. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. Let's see. Choice 1 for Conway. Those old horses of Ira's used to keep me up, or I heard you yelling. Bad dreams. We'll go with the second one because it seems likely that we're going to personalize it. We want to get to know Lisette. So Conway says, I heard you yelling. Bad dreams. We were up on the roof, Ira and I, and Charlie, eating a light supper. I was drinking sweet tea. Charlie was reading. We were surrounded by other houses, closely packed. Huge sidewalks. It must have been what's that word? Subdivision. That's it, I'm sure. Below us, a group of people were gathered, standing quietly. A man was reading from a book. I asked Ira about the weather. Would it rain on Tuesday or when the sun would set? Something like that. He wouldn't answer me. Charlie stood up and Ira told him to watch his step. And then I remembered. I woke up before I could stop him. Choice 1. Charlie was on the roof alone. Choice 2. I always told him to test each tile with a heel first. I'm gonna go with probably number one. I imagine I imagine that it's not really easy to hear when someone slips off a roof like that. Charlie was alone on that roof, says Conway. Yeah, I guess he was, responds Lisette. He was so bright. His teacher said, what was the word? Imaginative. That's it. How could I forget? Choice one, he didn't listen. Two, it wasn't his fault. Both of those are really apropos sentences to say in a time like this. Harder to say, I'm sure. Both of them have their cons. No one wants to hear he didn't listen, even if it's the truth. No one wants to hear that it wasn't his fault, even if it's a good lie. So I'm going to go with the hard truth. I don't even know if this is true. I'm just making this choice, by the way. He didn't listen. He listened, but he didn't hear what you wanted him to. Charlie always had his thoughts somewhere else. He was fitting your words together like with whatever else was focused on, like what do you choice one, like a puzzle. Choice two, like a collage. Choice three, like a word salad. Like a puzzle, says Conway. Yes, that's the word. I imagine she's got something going on. Well, we have a mail order delivery today. Might be a long drive. I hope the truck can hold up. Choice one, long drive. What makes you think so? Choice two, sent in by mail. Choice three, that truck will outlive us all. Let's see. I'm going to go with choice one. Conway says, long drive. What makes you think so? They said they couldn't come in person. Maybe just a shut in. I don't recognize the address. The order is all. I'm sure we can fill it. And then we have not much left back there, or guess that'll be the last. So I'm going to go with that one. Guess that'll be the last. I guess it will be. The last act of Lisette's Antiques. What's the word? Choice one, finale. Choice two, death rattle. I'm going to say that one because that's just feeling now how it feels. Though probably the correct word is actually finale, but I'll say death rattle. Death rattle? Maybe? No, that's not the word. I just need to think a bit. More coffee or something. Or I've had too much. Let's see. Conway says one, it's getting harder, or two, it'll come to you. I actually think it seems to be getting harder. If she's forgetting that many words over a period of time, there is a decay happening. Yes, it is. What are those boxes you set in the hallway? Choice one, those are Charlie's old books, or those are your clothes, you packed them yesterday. Alzheimer's maybe? Dementia? Probably heading toward onset of Alzheimer's. Those are your old clothes. You packed them yesterday, says Conway. Of course. Cora should be here soon. Will you wait with me? Choice one, I should get the delivery out, or shoreless, I'll wait with you. We're going to go with shore. She clearly could use the company. Shoreless, I'll wait with you. That's the radio announcer. In case you didn't hear it, the radio announcer just said, there's your traffic and weather on the fives. That's every 10 minutes. Brought to you by the Consolidated Power Company. Stick around for Old Kentucky Home with Kate, helping you turn your humble home into a mansion after this. Scene fades. Oh, he lost a leg. He's got a amputee leg. Dr. Truman said, but that's only if you make the late payment on a follow-up visit. I think everything went well enough here that he'll only want a bill for it. Shannon says, "Oh, he's awake. How do you feel, old man? All fixed up?" Truman says you might be a bit misty coming out of it, so choice 1, I was dreaming. Choice 2, what time is it? Choice 3, I feel fine. I'm going with choice 1. Conway replies, I was dreaming. Dr. Truman says, that's unlikely. Noripinol TM is quite powerful. In fact, many patients report a sensation of lost time. Do you feel like you've lost time? I mean, probably. So, or I feel fine. I'm going with probably. I guess so, says Conway. It's been about 2 hours. Choice 1, what have you been doing? Or, feel like I got some rest. Choice 1, what have you been doing? We watched TV for a while, then Dr. Truman showed me some of the terms of his bill. It's kind of, you'll want to look over it yourself, I think. Dr. Truman says, how about that leg? How's your leg feeling? Yeah, that's the important part, says Shannon. Conway shifts his leg a bit in the chair, testing it. Well? Interesting. This isn't my leg. It seems better, but it wasn't worth it. I'm going to go with the third answer, though. It was the heat. The shingles were cracked in the sun, and one of them slipped out from under his feet. Shingles? Says Shannon. What are we talking about? Who slipped? Dr. Truman says, your thoughts and feelings are probably a little nebulous from the Neuropinol TM. That's totally normal. It'll pass. I wouldn't recommend driving, at least for another hour or two regardless. Thank you, I can drive, or just stares at his leg. I'll say thank you. Conway's been respectful this whole time. Thank you, doctor. Sure. Let's talk about a few things you should be aware of. Recovery, rehabilitation, and side effects. All right, let's talk about it. Let's see. Choice 1, I should have plenty of resting time coming up soon. Oh, I'm used to a few side effects. Or how long am I going to be recovering? Let's go with questions. How long am I going to be recovering? Dr. Truman responds, well, at your age, I want to be clear. You should expect lingering effects of the injury for more or less the rest of your life. Don't immerse it fully in water, avoid extremes of temperature, and I'd stay away from dusty road and mountain lions as much as possible. I'm sorry, mountain lions? I mean, good advice in any context. Sure, thanks, Dr. Truman. Best thing you can do is keep it clean and free of debris. Alright. What do I clean it with? Or, how often do I clean it? What do I clean it with? Only clean your leg with a soft cloth, moistened with water or isopropyl alcohol. You'll definitely want to avoid abrasive agents like detergents or other solvents. So, do you have any questions? Anything about the bill that didn't make sense? I don't mean to rush you, but I have an early fishing trip. Shannon says, Shannon's choice, tell him about the payment plan in the bill. Conway's choice, I don't want to think about that bill right now. Conway's third choice, what are you fishing for? Tell him about the payment plan. Ah, says Dr. Truman. Yes, that's one of the atypical clauses. I don't really have control over the bill now that Consolidated Power Company brought my employer. They handle everything. So it all runs through your electricity bill now. You can pay it back in full on your next billing cycle, or you can get energy credit payment plan. You have to call Consolidated for more detail about that. I don't really understand how it works. Something about generating the electricity to send back to the grid. What a weird company to buy synthetic legs. Oh, one more thing. Don't be alarmed if you experience any side effects of the neuropenol TM. Typically, we see daydreaming, deja vu, pensiveness, fugue states, irregular perceptions of time. About 15% of patients report a generalized sensation of lateness. Nothing to be alarmed about, just keep that in mind. Shannon says, well, thanks for your help. Urza, the kid that brought us here the last time, says, Julian's outside. We can head back to your truck. All right, so we got a new leg, which is better than losing a leg completely. Act 3, Scene 1. The Museum of Dwellings. If this act goes anything like Act 2, by the way, we are going to probably take a break so I can get out of the room real quick. First and foremost, we talk to Blue. Oh, look at him run. Let's see. I'm going to go with choice 2. I'm going to go with choice 2. And I'm going to go choice 1. So my choices are, you get some, when you talk to Blue, you get some rest back there. That doctor seemed nice enough. I'm sure he does an okay job. Yay, that's Blue's conversation. Alright, we talked to Shannon. How are those drugs treating you? Choice 1, I feel a little distracted. Choice 2, streetlights seem brighter. Choice 3, I don't like to take medicine. The third one seems like something that a lot of older people would like to say, and I don't care. I'm going to take with choice 2. Conway responds, the streetlights seem a bit brighter. Oh, like trails and tracers? Something like that. My mom used to get that. She had migraines. My folks had a particular relationship with medicine. We almost never had a regular doctor or health insurance or anything like that. Our immigration stuff was a mess for most of my childhood, so we only qualified for state programs in small patches before something or other would get contested. And we learned just how to pile on dentist appointments and stuff into those short windows. If a cut got infected or her migraines were too much to handle, Mom would talk to so-and-so who knew so-and-so, usually another minor, and would end up with some pills. Instead of medical advice, every pill came with the gossipy anecdotal warnings and superstitions, like all this lore that came with it. Like magic, dangerous, mysterious. Choice 1, Weaver's folks couldn't help. Choice 2, ever run into any problems. The second one seems very likely, so what about the first one? Weaver's folks couldn't help? Yeah, they pretty good health care through the university for a while there. A couple times they'd swing something, so I've had a bit of whatever Weaver needed. In high school, Weaver got these pills to help her focus. She was so smart, but always going off in different directions, mind racing. Like 5 conversations going off in her head. And if you're lucky, if one of them is with someone in the room, you know? Been on those pills. I know that feeling. All too well. And the stigma that goes with it. She had these pills and they seemed to help. I was struggling in school, failing my history class. She offered to share the pills. Did it help? At first, yeah, it helped a lot. I kind of had a presence and clarity of purpose that I never really had otherwise. I didn't want to stop taking them. One day I was sitting on my bed, my notebook open next to me on top of a textbook, and I was holding a pen. I remember this moment from several years before. It came up so suddenly with such precision, I couldn't put it out of my mind. I felt I had to stay with it until I recalled the whole thing perfectly. It was just a tiny nothing moment. My mom patching up the side of a bird cage, winding some spare wire around the frame to reinforce it. I was fixated on that image, that sound. The cage kind of bending and twanging as she worked on it, rapping and nodding, scrapping copper against paint, like a bowing rubber violin with a railroad tire. A railroad tie. My parents came back from a triple shift and found me still sitting there on the edge of my bed, pen in my hand, delirious with thirst, patching that bird cage with a 1,000-yard stare. And this is why you don't take drugs that aren't prescribed for you. Okay, there's got to be some reason we stopped here, right? him run. Let him go. Go ahead, Conway. You just run. Run your little heart out. What? Flora? Where did this lake come from? Are those people like your new family? Urza says, choice one, I think we're friends. They're actually kind of weird. Let's go with choice one. I think they're friends. I don't have any friends because I'm so busy. Too bad it's not raining anymore. Choice, did you make the boat or do you like the rain? Yeah, the boat. We're looking at a boat. Did you make that boat? Oh, I folded out some paper from the front desk. How far do you think it'll go? We should stand here and watch it until it disappears over the horizon with that far-off look in our eyes. I'll lay my head on your shoulder right when it's a tiny speck, just before it vanishes, and you'll say something romantic. Urza can say, okay, or I have to go with my friends now. Let's do that one. Okay. Thanks, Flora. Okay, so I can't go past that. There are people here. There's a truck there. And now it's Conway's turn. So on this side, it's Urza. Or Ezra. Is it Ezra? I keep calling him Urza. Like that's normal. Huh. It's kind of fascinating. Okay, so there's nothing else in that parking lot, so we'll go ahead to the truck. So, what's the plan here? We can head back to the Zero, I guess, or we should try to get in touch with that clerk, or I could use a bite to eat. What do you think? I'm pretty hungry. Oh, okay. You've been on the road a while. Well, there's an all-night convenience store not too far from here. Is that okay? Alright, sounds good to me. Okay, we can take the 31 heading east. It's right before 65. Alright, here we go. 31 heading east. You're pretty hungry too? Yeah. Go grab yourself a snack. Alright, so this is the 31 heading east right before you get to the 65. The truck engine sputters and dies as Conway carefully guides it off the road next to a fallen tree. What? Act 3, Scene 2. A tree. You know, I think I need to move my tower over there. It's so hot. Okay, truck. Nothing to be done, says Shannon. It just won't start up again, or can you take a look at it? Maybe she knows. Can you take a look at it? Says Conway. I guess I could poke around in there, but I don't know a darn thing about engines. Wait, oh, wait. Is Is this why you always leave your truck running? Let's see. Lisette's is up on a hill, so first time it's just died like this or just superstitious. The second one. First time it's died like this. Well, where's the champagne? Oh. Anyway, do you know this area? Anyone around here that could give us a hand? Let's see. I drove past here yesterday. Or it looks like a road crew's been out here. It does, because a tree has been knocked over. Hey, we should call someone. Do you know a good towing company? There's 3 choices. The choices are as follows. Yep, Lucky Boot Collision and Towing. Here's the card. Or 2, I found this card for Mercadet Wreck Recovery in the Dash. Or 3, I can't read the name or number on this flyer, but it looks like a picture of a tow truck. Now we'll go with the first one. Lucky Boot Collision and Towing. Lucky Boot. Alright. I'll give him a call, says Shannon. I hope I can get a signal out here. Oh, there's a boy out there. Oh, it's Urza. She's calling. Shannon speaks into a large brick cell phone held up to her ear because we're in 1989. Hi, hello? We've got an old, I want to say diesel, old truck just stalled out. The phone can be irritable, sleepy, or confused. Let's go sleepy. It looks like it's nighttime. I'm sorry, did I wake you? Your card says open 23 hours a day. Accusatory, inquisitive, or suspicious? Accusatory. Well, isn't that just convenient? You just put that on there for plausible deniability or what? Apologetic, forceful, or obtuse? Let's go apologetic. No, it's okay. We just need to get to an auto shop to get this thing taken care of. Wistful, maudlin, or concerned? Let's go maudlin. Are you... Is this a bad time? Pragmatic, meticulous, neighborly. Neighborly. We already ate. As soon as you can get out here, we're off the 65 somewhere, just kind of pulled up by this tree that fell over. Placating, specific, or tangential. We'll go with, I am not going to be tangential. No. Specific. That's actually a pretty accurate description of it, yeah. Hanging over the power lines just like that. Did you see it go down? Dismissive, indolent, or assertive? Indulgent, sorry, indolent. I can't read today. Indulgent. Assertive. I'm going assertive. Okay, whatever you need to do. How long do you think it'll be? Silence, radio music, distant traffic sounds. Radio music. Or it could, actually, it's probably more like. I mean, let's be real. There's only like 2 songs that's ever used for like radio music. It's either that or like Ben Sounds. Hello? Okay, so she's called the radio company, and now we're on that. Let's see, we have Urza here, so we'll talk to Urza. Ezra. Are you bored? Conway says, sure, but I don't mind. Not yet. Are you? Last one. Are you? Yeah, most of the time. Let's Let's play a game. How about 21 questions? Or what would you like to play? What would you like to play? Conway asks, what would you like to play? Well, we can tell the future with this little tree branch. It's pretty easy. We just break off all the little sticks on each section and count through the different things that could happen. Okay, what should we ask? It should be about you. I can both do the counting and the questions. Okay, let's see. Choice 1, what kind of bed will I sleep in tonight? What kind of job will I have in the future? Or will I have next? Or how will I travel in the future? How will I travel in the future, says Conway. Urza snaps the smaller branches away one at a time, counting out the possibilities. Motorbike, motorboat, horseback, hearse, old truck, new truck. New truck. These other branches are too bare. Don't worry about it too much. It's just a bunch of sticks. Thank you. That was a fun game. Oh, we can talk to Blue again. Ezra. Let's see. I'll go with choice 1. Then I'll go with choice 2. Then I go with choice 3. Or choice 2. How long do you think we'll be waiting here, Blue? Do you get bored late at night? It's so quiet. I guess you don't mind. And now we talk to Shannon. I think they're on their way. Guess we have some time to kill. Let's see. We can look over the road map again, or a pretty grim place to get stuck. The first one. We could look over the road map again. I've stared at that thing for too long already. Where'd you get that old map anyway? Let's see. I found it at the shop, or it's always just been in the truck. It's always just been in the truck. Huh. Someone must have grabbed it at a gas station somewhere along the line. Or maybe they threw it in that glove box at a dealership. When my parents bought their first car here, it came with a map. I used to sit in the back and pore over it. Aunt Rembedio saw me looking at it, I guess, and a few days later she gave me a map she brought from Colombia. It looked almost hand-painted. Deep, vibrant colors and rough border lines like anxious brushstrokes. Really pretty. I'd slowly trace the coastline with my finger like I was walking on the beach and say, here we'll swim. Here we'll start a fire. Here we'll find a cave in the cliff face and go live amongst bats for a while. I think I'll take a look at that old radio of yours. And I was more words to say, but I guess I clicked on a button. By accident. My bad. Let's see. How's it looking? Says Conway. The leads are badly corroded, but I'm making progress. That's what I like working about on electronics. It gets easier as you go on. For me, it's just the opposite. Choice 1, or you get used to it. Choice 2. Choice 2, you get used to it. You get used to it. Almost there. Distant motorcycle engine approaching. Synth pop music is playing on the radio. Johnny says, is this the right way? Let's see. Junebug says, either of course it is, or what's to recognize is a bunch of trees. Yo, what's to recognize? It's just a bunch of trees. The trees are so quiet, right? You usually hear birds, wind, squirrel, or something. Let's see. Junebug says, doesn't seem so quiet right now, or turn your ears down and focus on the radio, Cricket. Let's do that one. Turn your ears down and focus on the radio, Cricket. Johnny says, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm a little bored. I'll work on some chord progressions in my head or something. Road ahead. How far out are we? Junebug says, I don't know, 20 minutes? Or he's teasing. Are we there yet? Oh, stop. Harry's not going to be happy. You know he doesn't like me anyway. I also don't know that, I assume Junebug says, I'll tell him you have to get the drain pipe on that tape, or I'll tell him about the frog. I have no idea who these people are, so bear with me while I figure out these characteristics. I'll tell him you had to get a drain pipe on tape. Aw, he wouldn't appreciate it, but man, the way those raindrops boom down that thing, I got at least 30 minutes of it. Radio? Hey, yeah, didn't you play this record? Let's see. Go-Go was on it, or this was Dee Dee's record? Well, Mum's your choice. Here we go. Dee Dee's record. This is Dee Dee's record. Oh, yeah, Dee Dee. Dee Dee. That guy is out of control. We should do a set with him. He's a creep. Only Johnny plays notes I like. Is Junebug. Heh. Only Johnny plays notes I like. Aww. What time is it? Let's see. You've got a timing circuit. It's late. Junebug says, it's late. Harry's gonna flip out. Relax, Cricket. Yeah, you're right, says Johnny. Sorry. I'm being uptight. Let's see. Junebug says, I'll make sure Harry pays up. I have a way with him. Or the other choice is, just play that keyboard. I'll figure out the rest. But I'm going with choice 2. Just make sure Harry pays up. I have a way with him. Johnny says, I know. Apparently we bumped into some musicians who are passing us by. Okay. Let's go with break disc. Hey, they look like they could use some help. Let's see. Junebug says, you gonna fix it up for them, Johnny? Oh, I don't know, a wrench from a cattle prod. I thought you... I guess I'm up to some good Samaritan. Okay, we'll help them. You're the best. And hey, maybe if they're not busy, they can fill some seats at the gig. You know, if there's no one Harry, we'll try and bilk us on our fee. I think Harry is that barman, right? If I recall. Remember in Act 2, the first time we played it, we were at the bar scene and they were waiting for the entertainment. This is Junebug! So Junebug's female. That was my bad. So first we talked to Ezra. Was that him? Let's see. Who? That was a motorcycle. Lucky Boot has a big truck. They were going pretty fast, whoever they were. Let's go with number 2. That was a motorcycle. Lucky Boot has a big truck. Oh, yeah. They're too fast for a truck. I bet they're getting chased by something. Choice 1, maybe they have somewhere important to see, or maybe they didn't just see us. I doubt that one, but probably important to be. Maybe they just had somewhere important to be. Definitely getting chased by something, says Ezra. Wild imagination flying. Oh, they came back. Oh, remember when Harry, the barman, kept saying that Junebug's late? Junebug says to Johnny, stay here. To Ezra, careful, he's wicked with strangers. Let's see. Conway says, you didn't have to stop. We got a tow coming. Shannon says, you here to clear the tree? Or Ezra says, who's chasing you? 100% Ezra will be the first one to speak up. Who's chasing you? Hear that, Cricket? We're being pursued. I knew it. Who's after us? Says Johnny. That's a good question. These folks seem to have a certain handle on the situation. So. And you bet you know what? Ezra is on my side. Here we go. There's maybe the law or dinosaurs. And the answer is dinosaurs. It will always be dinosaurs. Dinosaurs will always ever be chasing people on motorcycles. That's just cave paintings. Dinosaurs. Sure, something like that. Listen, we've got 2 questions for you folks. What kind of people do you take us for? I mean, how do we strike you? I am pulling Ezra's, but the choices are Conway says you seem nice enough. Conway can say I'm not sure I follow, or we're going to take Ezra's choice, which is probably from space. Johnny replies, I always said you fell from heaven, ma'am. Junebug says to Johnny, otherworldly. It's unmistakable. Now, here's another question for you. Do you like music? Do you like music? Let's see. Conway can say, Lisette used to sing in taverns on the weekend. Beautiful stuff. Shannon says, I like to leave the radio dialed between stations. Or Ezra, I don't like music, but I do like sounds. Which is the choice we shall also take. Of course you do. But he doesn't have to get to say it. He goes, of course you do. Say, they should come to our gig. What an idea. Let's see. Conway can say, well, we're waiting for a tow. Shannon says, right now? Or Shannon says, we're trying to get back on the zero. We'll go with Conway's voice of reason for the moment. A tow! I won't hear about it. This time of night, you'll be kicking your heels till dawn. We'll fix your truck up. Me and Johnny are a couple regular gearheads. Why, I just put a new cylinder block on this baby over here. Let's see. Weird Vector, Sloth on Wheels, or Vicious Cycle. Probably Vicious Cycle, which is what this game starts to feel like. That's what we call our bike, says Johnny. We call it the Vicious Cycle. Pretty tough, huh? We'll get you fixed up quick so you can come to the gig. See, we have a regular booking tonight and, well, we're running late. Very late. That's what I told them. Now, the old man who runs this venue, Harry Esperanza, is a notorious withholder. And if we don't get a few bodies in the crowd, he'll go all penny pinching on us. Remember, Harry also sold all those debts to that beer company. Mm-hmm. Just a short set. We only have one song prepared. You'll come to the gig, won't you? Says Johnny. Shannon says, we really don't have the time. Or Conway can say, of course we will. The answer is, of course we will, because they're going to make us go anyway. Of course they will, says Jedbug. Can you believe it? We almost didn't stop. Johnny says to the dog, hungry old lady? I think I've got a crust in the sidewalk here. But Johnny here saw you folks were in trouble. Well, all that's said and done, we stopped. That's all that matters. Our gig's at an old tavern called the Lower Depths. It's over there by Charlie Moran Highway, just off of East 65. We usually take a right off the interstate around the arcade. Johnny likes the arcade. That place. I just put fresh batteries in my field recorder. Now, let's see about that truck of yours. I feel certain we can get it running. Okay. So we've now met Junebug that we were supposed to meet in the previous Act 2. Okay. Going to the field book, because now we have it here. So we can go to the Lower Depths. Over by Charlie Moran Highway, just off, east off 65. There's the arcade. The arcade is closed. And now we're at the tavern. Go team. Go team go. Taverns have food. Act 3, Scene 3. The Lower Depths. First, we talk to Blue. Let's see. Choice 2. Choice 2. Choice 2. To Blue, he says, feels a little like home, huh? It's not all bad memories. Gentler times in a twisted kind of way. There's a truck. We look at the bar door. Kind of late. Are you sure they're open? Junebug says, sure they're open. This is one of those places. Actually, give us a minute. We're not saints, but we've kept our appointment. How many people can boast as much? That's lovely, ma'am. Who said it? A poet. Alright, we'll enter in just a second. I just want to see if there's anything else to look at. Ah, dumpster. The trash bin is filled. Several pairs of working shoes, a few hats, a small Ziploc bag with 3 pairs of eyeglasses. They threw the stuff in the dark. Oh, people were wearing that at the bar in Act 2 the first time. This place is a little sketch. Okay, so we're inside. The air conditioner's humming. Ma'am, I hate to say it, but the cupboard is bare. Have some vision, Craig. We got 1, 2, 4 patrons. Harry doesn't count. Well, we've done more with less. Choice 1. What kind of music do you play? Do you play her often? Choice 2. Or choice 3. Haven't been to a bar like this since... ... We'll choice 3. I haven't been in a bar like this since... Oh, gave it up, huh? Well, I bet Harry has some coffee up back there. But I won't vouch for the quality. She's a connoisseur, says Johnny. Not particularly sure what his existence is. Johnny's favorite regional cuisine is gas station. Gross. There's a sandwich on the table. Remember those sandwiches that were made of bricks? A rough brick between 2 stale pieces of bread sits in the center of the table, surrounded by a ring of undisturbed dust. Goggles. A bulky set of black goggles sit on the edge of the table next to an ashtray, a newspaper, and a few empty glasses. Shannon says, huh. Conway asks, what is it? I guess I don't know. Can I tell you a horrible secret? I never wear eye protection in the shop. It's dangerous, I know. But I'm always looking back and forth between my oscilloscope and whatever I'm working on, and the scope has this particular kind of hard bordered glow, and I just... Well, I never found a pair of goggles or glasses that doesn't smear out that glow. At best, the lens softens everything, so you can't quite find the edges. We talked to Ezra. Ezra flips eagerly through the jukebox catalog of songs. Shannon asks him, what do you think? I don't know how to play this game. Alright. Well, that's that then. Let's talk to Harry the bartender. The one that sold all the debts. I'm pouring out tonight is Hard Times whiskey. Conway says, got a coffee going? Or sure, I'll have a whiskey. Let's give him coffee. Get any coffee going? No coffee. Hard Times whiskey. Yelling toward the Eskins. Say, shut the GD door, would you? I can't afford to run the AC all night. Johnny says, I'm sorry, Harry. Oh, miss you too. Where have you been? Never mind. Listen, I can't keep this place open all through the small hours of the night just waiting for musicians. Junebug says, where is everyone? Because remember, they were all there when we first played Act 2. There were like 4 other people. Everybody had to, clear out. And all their clothes ended up in the dumpster. Remember? Let's get set up, huh? There's nobody here to listen to it. I can't pay. We brought people, Harry. A crowd is forming. Yeah, but also Junebug says, couldn't you use a break, Harry? Or, don't you want to hear some music, Harry? Or, don't you trust me, Harry? Let's go with the first one. Couldn't you use a break, Harry? Ugh. Been on my feet all day. But right, and we'll let Junebug play. How's it looking out there? How y'all feeling tonight? Johnny says to Harry, can we get a bit more reverb in the monitors? Harry adjusts the soundboard behind the bar. How's that? Test, 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 test. 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 50. Lamentation. Sounds good. What a... I hate that sound check so much. How's everybody doing? Had a real bad night? How about you, old man? She says to Conway. Conway says, no, not too bad. Well, we'll take care of that right now. This is a song I heard in a tavern many years ago at an open mic night, and me and Johnny were just out riding around, you know. You like to drive around, old man? He says, yep, that's my job. Of course you do. You're almost late? All right, hi. Everyone say, well, by everyone, I mean like everyone, yeah, everyone who's here say, good luck to Drake. He's going to go in his magic tourney. Have fun. Let me know how it goes when you get home tonight. Okay. Hi, bye, have fun, break a leg, which is 100% not what you say to someone that's going to a tourney. I imagine good luck is significantly better, but break a leg just sounds like more fun, you know? Break a leg, take a bow, enjoy. Alright, so here we are. We are riding around and we passed this old gaudy tavern. I mean, it was a real dive, busted up facade. Johnny says, weeds in the parking lot. Taps all dry. Bats in the bar room. And run by this creaky old bag of bones. Looked only like a thing. Look, a thing keeping him awake was the fear of death. So glad to be back here at the lower depths. Hey! Now, they were talking about the low. Wow. Sorry, Harry. So we stopped for an early drink, and there's this lady sitting here right on the stage, and the song she sang, well, it stuck with us. And now it's a regular part of our repertoire. Never got that lady's name, but she seemed like a sweet old gal, and she had a voice like Scotch whiskey. And we hope to do her some justice. So here it is, Too Late to Love You. I hope not break anything. Well, just not break the store, I guess. The music starts to play, and the scene starts to come apart. Junebug and Johnny play Too Late to Love You. When you left me, I should have never met. Never should have met you. I wish we'd met before. I wonder if we should sing it. I'm curious. I'm sure I could actually come up with actual melody for it too, if I really tried. Shooting stars going left and right, the universe is spinning. The moon is crossing the night sky. Is this the lyrics that she sings over and over again? It's kind of a pithy, sad. I can imagine lots of reverb. I wish we'd met before. Yeah, kind of scenario. So I'm like, yeah, it's like this. There's nothing else happening, so I imagine it's mostly riffing, which could be totally wrong. And then lots of oohs that go inside of it. That's actually a different song, but you get the idea. Oh, I'm supposed to... These are the choices of the... We're supposed to pick it. Oh, okay. So, we're just staring at a night sky, Pedro, you and I. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. Here we go. I wish we'd met before. I actually got most, like, some of the notes, at least as like far as like acoustics, correct. I actually got the notes, like the range of notes correct. We got another choice. The hurt you left behind. I never thought I'd miss you as long as you were gone. As long as you were gone. Let's go with that one. Oh, I got higher. There we go. That's where we're at. That is some Scotch whiskey singing there. Yep. Hairpin dynamics. I like it. It's too late. Ah, there it is. Baby, this is about to be like 20-minute scene of we just staring at her do this for a while if I hadn't realized. I'm just saying. That would have been an interesting disaster just watching. Okay, so the next choice we have is I thought that somehow love would find a way. There were months I wish you would come back every day. After years, I know that I'm bound to my fate. While I dislike the idea of fate, I am one that likes to take charge of my own. I don't like the idea that love would find a way, because again, that would be like kind of fatalistic, and I don't play that game, so I guess. There are months I wish you'd come back every day. 5, 6, 7, 8. We would have just been singing as options. The roof comes back. Excuse me. It's too late. I need my vow. Or something along those lines. I like it. That song's actually quite nice. It's too late. Alright, let's talk to Junebug. Well, I hope you liked it. Let's see, kind of sad, isn't it? Or I've heard it before. No. Kind of sad, isn't it? Kind of. Listen, we appreciate you folks for sticking around for the show. There's nothing more wretched than playing sad songs to an empty room. I agree with that. Sort of. Unless it's like on my purpose, like I'm in my living room, and if you're strangers in my living room and I'm singing sad songs, I would have a lot to say about that, because why are there strangers in my living room while I'm singing sad songs? I did not ask for this. But if I go to a venue to go sing some sad songs and nobody shows up, oh yeah, it's a pretty demoralizing experience. Oh good, Drake made it in time for his tourney. Alright, I said go get him. Alright, there we go. So, we've just got to get our fee from Harry, and then we'll get you headed to the, Zero. You still ain't figured that out there, Ezra? Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good, right? That's a nice concert. I appreciate it. Well, Harry, I think that went pretty well. I'd say the crowd was into it. Reverential. Rat. I guess the usual fee is about right, and we'll let you get back to your business. Apparently the business of selling people to the Hard Times Whiskey Company. Well, that's just the... Darn it, I was trying to tell you two. I can't pay. They cleaned me out. I've got nothing but a GD IOU from the distillery. And IOU. Yeah, I traded them for some whiskey, and I guess I had some surplus credit, so I got this note to get some more from them later on. Must have been a heck of a trade. He traded people! I had to. Gotta bleed this place open somehow. Watch your language, Harry. Choice 1, could you just pay them with your IOU? Or choice 2, which I really prefer to say, we just need to get pointed toward the zero. Y'all figure this out. Like, that's my thought. Let's go that. Oh, God. Junebug says, what's that? You know what they're talking about? Tell you what. You point my friends and I to the zero, and we'll call it even. Are you folks sure you want to head down there? I've never been myself, but I hear... People hear things. Rumors. It's where we've got to go. Or 2, do you know any other way the dog would drive? We've been trying to make this delivery for 4 days now. 4 streams. Dogwood? Got a letter, did you? I got a stack of them. Okay, it sounds like the zero's the only course now. Harry, you're all right. If only, said Harry. You got a radio in your car? Yep, said Shannon. Well, here's what you gotta do. Take a left out of the parking lot, then just fiddle around on your dial until you hear something familiar, but... I mean, familiar, but strange. You know the feeling, like... I used to go hunting with my uncle out in the mountains, and now I watch these nature programs. They're filmed in the mountains, and there's deer, and I know all the plants and every kind of tree, but something just doesn't look right. And it's even stranger for being close to familiar. Something like that. You'll know it when you hear it. Fix that strange but familiar station on your dial, drive for a bit, then turn around when the station cuts out. I mean, right then. I hope you folks find what you're looking for eventually. Johnny says, always a pleasure, Harry. Sardonically, Harry responds, is it? Alright. We can start heading for the zero. Finally. Neon signs rattle tunelessly in the dark of the tavern. Okay, so it said... Oh, we can actually go to the... convenience store real quick. We'll come back to that. That's where we gotta go over here. The convenience store is just a tiny booth in the middle of a lot that must have once been an active gas station. The light in the booth is on. Approach a window. Inside this booth is big enough for a card table, 2 chairs, and a few plastic crates filled with snacks and warm Coke. 2 men shuffle plastic dominoes across the window. We'll look for a door. Conway looks around for a door. He finds a sliding service window on the far side of the booth, the kind that can slide in and out of the booth without allowing anyone to reach and make grab for the cash register. I guess knock on the window. Conway wraps his knock on the service window. One of the men sends his partner an exasperated glance, then returns its attention to the game. We'll pass in some money. Conway passes in a few dollars to the service window. One of the men lets out a vexed sigh. Without standing or turning his eyes away from the game, he reaches into a plastic crate, retrieves a small blue bag, distractedly pushing it through the service window. Chips or something? The bag is illustrated with a cartoon drawing of an avocado, but the nutritional data suggests it's pretty sugary. The expiration on the date has been worn away. Alright, so now we'll go back to here. Alright, so here's the tavern. Now to get to the zero, it says... Tune into a radio station that sounds familiar but strange. Drive for a while until the radio station cuts out. Oh. I don't know what that means, but okay. I need to turn on the radio station first, don't I? This station doesn't quite match the bartender's description. Definitely weird, though. Let's keep scanning. He said he'd know it when we hear it. Alright, so that's not it. What's this station? I've never heard before. Sounds like horses running a race. Choice 1, Conway says Ira and Lizette used to have horses years back. Or choice 2, Charlie and I used to go to the races sometimes. Look at Charlie. Charlie and I used to go to the races sometimes. Charlie, he was your boss's kid, right? The one who, yeah. Must be some memories there. Well, that fits the familiar but strange for me. Harry said we just drive until it cuts out. He said left, right? There are horses on the street. Can't move forward. I don't actually know if I need to still be here. Alright, found it. Drive around to the station cuts out, then turn around. Well, I guess we can actually keep going here. Hall of the Mountain King? Like Edvard Grieg? Like dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. You know, Hall of the Mountain King. First, we talk to Blue, as always. Let's see. I'll do second one, and then the second one, and then second one. So Conway says to Blue, they don't keep the roads up too well, do they? Not down here. So empty. Just let it go, I guess. Let's talk to Johnny. Johnny says, time to cut him loose, ma'am. Junebug's choice says, now I'm having fun, or you bored? You bored? Nah, it's just a slow night anyway. I'm just happy tagging along. Let's check out the bridge. The bridge ends abruptly, crumbling into disrepair. Alright, we'll go up to the boardwalk, I guess, because it's the only thing we can do. We'll take a look at some rope. A loop of decayed rope is coiled on the banister. Some rotted sections have been smoothed over with fine dust. There's a stack of computers. Broken computer monitors are heaped precariously along the rocks. There's a pet carrier. A pet carrier for a cat or small dog has been left by the path. A calcified rag wadded in the corner may have once been a blanket. If we keep going higher, we come across a backpack. A hiking backpack leans against a rock. It's empty except for a dusty bag of cat food and a few punch cards. And we see a fire. A bonfire crackles and reverberates through the cave. A pile of discarded electronic burns steadily in the center of the chamber. There's an Amy over here. Oh, it's triangles within triangles down here, shifting, intersecting, overlaying. Isn't it romantic? Let's see. To Shannon, she says, "You're here to steal back the love of a boy you once knew, when you were too young to recognize the movements of the heart." To Conway, she says, "And you're escorting her, pretending to have her interests at heart while really." To Junebug, she says, "Really, you're in love with the young woman as well. And so you've agreed to help them conspire with her to win her affections, but it's just a ploy to set him up for embarrassment and diminish him out of the picture." Oh. Hi, Amy. It's nice to meet you. This is Conway, Shannon, Junebug. Let's see. "What are you talking about?" says Shannon. Seems like something she would say. "No, you're right. It's insipid. Derivative. I used to be really good at this. I had 11 novels published, from The Billionaire's Bidding to Fields of Longing. Real, hot, bodice-ripping stuff, you know. I miss those days in my Lexington studio apartment. Just me and my thesaurus steaming up the windows." Shannon says to Ezra, "I'm not sure you should be listening to this kid." "I'm not listening." But of course, it couldn't last. You know, suddenly it was all computers everywhere you went. I thought I might be able to do something with that. Inject a little libido into those ugly beige boxes. Ha! So I went back to university and I studied human-computer interaction. And then I picked up Donald's research assistantship here as a tester. Debugging. In my off hours, I played with the doomed love story at the core of our little simulation. That seemed to amuse Donald, so I kept at it. I'm afraid I tinkered too much, made it too complex. Now our work is never done. We don't even have to add any new functionality. The bugs just grow on their own. Too complex. I miss those days in my Lexington studio apartment. Amy is a woman in a tattered cardigan looking furtively at other people around the fire. The fire filled with electronics. So now we'll go talk to the old man in the corner. Donald puffs on a smoldering pipe while half mumbling, half singing an old country tune. He says softly, "Where the old green river runs, through the hills and caves not known to us, down to that sunless sea." Oh! Who are you? Let's see. Conway says, "Sorry we didn't startle you," or Junebug says, "What's that song?" Oh, I clicked Junebug. My bad. "Oh, you got a verse of my absent-minded warbling. Just a song from my youth. Something a dear friend used to sing to herself as we hacked on crystal radios in the boiler room. In old Kentucky, where my love a lovely home did build for me, and where the old river runs through hills and caves not known to us, down to that sunless sea. From there on, it's all meandering rivers and romantic greenery, and that is... What are we talking about?" Shannon says, "What's that computer over there? Looks pretty vintage." "It looks like a harmless old computer, doesn't it? Like some beat-up mainframe exhumed from a university basement left in this cave to rot. Or to flower. No, it's no ordinary computer. I modified it extensively in some pretty experimental ways, you believe me. And that's to say nothing of the software, but..." To Shannon, he says, "You look like a technically minded sort of person. Tell me, do you know the effects of mold growth on a diffuse-base transistor? Circuitry?" The mold would burn up. "Exactly. It burns, and all the sweet smoke that issues from it. But it also leaves a sticky residue to seep through the machine, forming new connections and creating new circuits. The computer is no longer the pure domain of language or mathematics, but entropy. Thwarted and feeble, we hammer on this derelict keyboard, 'My name is Reason, King of Kings.'
But we are mere tourists in the ruins. Our keystrokes echo off into the tunnels, boundless and bare. The caves stretch far away. We are too late. Always too late. What? Did you say something?
You were about to tell us about the software, or I'm just interested in the mold computer? I'm not. That was a lot of philosophicals that came with software, and I'm okay with not having that. You were just about to tell us about the software.
Oh, the software, my life's work. Xanadu. You heard of it?
And he does not mean the 1980s musical movie.
Perhaps you read about it in a journal. It's been years since I published anything. Xanadu has evolved significantly since I explained its data structures in my article Literary Multitude, Hypertextual Narrative as Post-Structural Witness. Evolved, and then deteriorated.
Donald sighs dramatically and takes a puff from his pipe.
I'm afraid you are too late, fellow hypertext enthusiast. As the mold accumulated on the circuitry, Xanadu blossomed for a moment into something holy and enchanted. Then all the charm was broken. Do you have any idea what it's like to spend your life building something and then sit powerlessly as your work declines into ruin?
Choices. Conway can say, I drive deliveries for a small antique shop and we're closing down. Shannon can say, I fix TVs and I'm about to lose the lease on my workshop. Ezra says, my family disappeared. Julian and me don't know what to do. Junebug can say, not really. Ezra.
So, wandering without the ones who give us purpose, like a ghost. Well, I have my own ghosts, and I keep them in there, in Xanadu. It's running on that glorious dusty machine. Take a look if you'd like. Too late to run anything but smoke and reminisce anyway. Far too late to do anything.
Oh look, there's Andrew. Do you know what I said when I first... No. I mean, if this cave were larger, could it... Now I'm getting ahead of myself. I've got it. How would you characterize this space? The one we're standing in now? Let's see. Conway can say it seems endless. Junebug can say it's a mess. Ezra can say what I'm going to tell him to say.
Kinda spooky, but I'm not scared. Spooky for a baby.
I think we all agree it's a fair assessment. How could... Wait. Let's unpack that for a moment. What makes it spooky? No. How do you know it's spooky or would be spooky for a baby? Ezra says the tunnels. He can say the shadows or the huge fire. I would say the huge fire.
The huge fire.
Mysterium tremendum. It sends the shadow scattering, momentarily lights the mouths of unseen tunnels. That fire is constantly reshaping my... Close your eyes. Will you close your eyes? Ezra jumps on the chance. Shannon says, not a chance. Junebug can say only if you close yours. We're going with Ezra. Carefree young Ezra.
Okay.
Good. Now, you are standing at the top of a rocky peak. The tongue of flame licks the shadowy anatomies of... Where are we? Oh, here we are again. How disappointing. Junebug says, what are all these computers for? Or Shannon says, sorry to, disappoint. Which we picked. No, it's my fault. I shouldn't be attached to the future. It's always getting in the way of my work. Better to be in the moment, carefully observing and documenting with no attachment. Let me give you an example. I was a grad student studying statistics when I started working with Donald on his project. He said we needed someone with more analytical mind to do more descriptive writing. Someone who would appreciate the cave descriptions as real labor instead of taking on their authorial voice for granted. Donald warned me that it would be long hours of typing painstakingly detailed descriptions into a computer, and I've put in hours. Believe me, I've put in the hours. I've described every facet of this cave in such detail that sometimes I don't even know if I'm reading or looking, writing or exploring. Often, in the dark and lonely moments, I worry that in my sleep I've transcribed rooms from my dreams into the system. How would we know? They could only be entered with precise, faithful detail, and that's all I know how to write. All I dream about is caves. I only dream of caves. Andrew has been working too long. Let's be real. Andrew has been at this for way too long. Andrew, you need a break. A man wearing large glasses inspects the ceiling because he's been working too long. There's a gate here. A massive gate constructed out of scavenged materials blocks down the far side of the spire. Okay, let's check out Xanadu then, because that's all we got left. Oh, here's Roberta. The kingdom is in peril. Roberta laughs. Well, what else is new? Conway says, do you work here? Or choice, Ezra, which we're going to pick.
Where's the kingdom?
You're in the throne room. There are 3 legendary treasures hidden throughout the castle that will restore the ruins to their former glory. Ezra's choice is,
what do they look like?
She's messing with you, kid, interjects Shannon. Roberta laughs. Enchanted jewelry, talismans, a magic mirror that prevents the future, a magic shield that protects the bearer from age, a magic chest that's always filled with... I never went to the university. I was an independent scholar. It means that I took to the public libraries like a beachcomber. I studied fairy tales. And then I came to work for Donald. I paid the bills, rubbed leathering elbows with academics, scraped black mold from cave walls. Finally, now I carry firewood into senescence. The kingdom is in peril. Everyone has been working down here too long. It's not good to work in a cave for that long. Baffling control panels are sheltered from the elements with a worn tarp. A closet-sized wall of knobs and wires looms from the machine, humming faintly. An electric typewriter is the only easily recognizable component. So I guess we'll charge it up. How do you think we get it started, says Shannon. Junebug says, this whole thing? Maybe there's a hand crank around, or it has a run key. Act 3, Scene 5. Alright, at this point, I'm actually going to take a quick breather. Give me 5... Xanadu's next. Give me 5 minutes. I just need to go cool down, grab another, like some more ice and stuff like that, and then come back. We will reconnoiter in just a moment as we listen to noisy, broken synthesizer music called Xanadu. We will take a break as soon as I get a moment. Alright, we'll let this play out for a little bit. I'm going to turn it down somewhat. And we're going to take a quick breather. We will be right back in about 3 to 5 minutes at most, everyone. All right? I forgot there's two mutes I usually do, and it's the one on OBS and there's one on my microphone. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so apparently this thing is like playing like a Zork game, it looks like. It said we're surrounded by a fortress. You're walking into a forest or something along those lines. So Ezra says, try blowing on it. So Conway blows some dust off the keyboard and presses the return key. And then Xanadu comes off something, 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 T, something road, BFF / something small, something, 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 or like something around it. Okay, says Shannon. That's worse. Shannon says try typing help, which is what you would do in a text-based game if you don't know what to do. Or Junebug says it kind of looks like a house. Type house. Let's type help, because that's what I would do if I was playing Zork. Conway types help. Xanadu says that's I have a little icy pop. Looks like Xanadu's trying to function, though I think we'll break it. You are in beep. Look, east, west, with east, every up and Lula are over computer deep crying on the ending. Lula, that's everything. Shannon says, did he say Lula? Or did that say Lula? Or Junebug says, time for some percussive maintenance, which means to smash it. Conway types Lula. Or Malice enter. I got Shin Civic School of it might be we won't I some Seth has and he runs I for the him writes the paper top reader and you as up holding. Well, darn, I can't tell what she's saying, says Shannon. Oh, I have my portable degausser with me. Old systems like this one can build up a remnant of magnetic field that sort of warps everything along with whatever pattern it's settled into, you know? The degausser clears that up by suddenly shaking the magnetic field around it until it's uniform again. That's how I like to think of it anyway. Like shaking a snow globe. Well, worth a shot. Alright, so she's going to do the snow globe thing. We'll do it again. I guess. It looks like it's gotten worse. Well, okay. Slag ceilings as rocks. Set up your and premature end of file. Press any key to quit. Junebug says, this is a lost cause. What a piece of junk. Not wrong. Act 2, Act 3, Scene 6. Hall of the Mountain King. Again. Bizarre, says Shannon. What was that about Lula? Maybe Donald knows how to clear it up a bit. And we go back to Donald. I don't usually eat things crunchy on my stream because I don't like the microphone picking it up, but ice seemed necessary. The fire's still crackling. This cave is huge. What are they even doing here? There's Amy again. Okay, we made it back to Donald.
So, you've seen it for yourself, what's left of it.
Junebug says, it's pretty busted. Or Conway can say, is that the end? No, pretty busted. Pretty busted.
The chalky bones of a beautiful dream. But you can see what it was, can't you? Can't you? There was so much more of it, ornate labyrinths of memory, exhaustively simulated parallel cave ecosystems, real artificial intelligence built on sophisticated neural network algorithms. The birds in the forest could flock in 3 dimensions. Bats could learn to sing. And then it began to crumble when the strangers came. At first, we only heard them walking heavily through the caves, dragging things around, hammering and clattering their tools. Sometimes we just heard working songs, never close enough to make out real voices, just echoes of cascading wordlessly in tumbles. Then we caught a glimpse of one.
What did they look like?
They look like... No. It's too horrible. I shouldn't be telling you about this. They're dangerous. They're strange. I should have never tried to outwit them. They were always too much for me, but it's too late now. If I'd listened to Lula,
Oh! This is the Donald that she got in that fight with. Donald and his partner, remember? They went down into the caves. Shannon says, Lula? Lula Chamberlain?
Yes, of course. Oh, do you know her?
We're looking for her now, says Shannon.
No, she is gone now. She left. We built this together, did you know? Lula, Joseph, and I. Lula is gone from here, but still in there. In Xanadu. I don't know where Lula is now or how to get there from here, but how to unwind that tangled highway. But Xanadu, before its ruin, was faultless as an oracle, a shrine to perfect simulation. Until... But maybe... those weird interlopers destroyed my Xanadu. Perhaps they know how to fix it. It may be dangerous. I've spent many eager seconds to negotiate with them to repair my masterpiece back there, that tunnel. Push back the vines. Crawl out into the darkness. Watch your step. After a while, you can feel the terrain change beneath your hands and knees from rock to crystal, then to mud. Then you'll be out. That's where the strangers come from. Now, leave me alone. I still have a bit of mold in my pipe and a few dreams left.
Okay, so we're going to the crystal. Oh, hold on. Act 3, Scene 7. Where do strangers come from? This is taking a turn in this direction that I have no idea how we even got here. Strangers. Yeah. Hold on, I'm just putting my hair up because it's hot. Okay. The people who make the questions on the museum. Paige, your guess is as good as mine because it sounds like that is a real possibility. The museum staff, right? Shannon says, well, this can't be right. It looks like an old church.
But it's muddy.
Yeah, that's what he said. Crystals, then mud. Okay.
I want to stay outside,
says Ezra.
Why? I think I saw a lizard.
Junebug says, I'll stay with him. Okay, so we'll make it quick. All right, here we go. We'll look around a little bit. An epitaph is graved on the gravestone marker. Carl Collins, generous disposition, will be missed. Below, a note written in white chalk. HT 8191T, fill date June 29th, notes of almond. This seems normal. An epitaph in stone. Justin Corcoran and Steve Christophers. We think you two would have really liked each other. In white chalk. HT 8192-B, fill date June 24th. Weird finish. An epitaph. Joe Hughes always had a far-off look. Probably still does. In white chalk. HT 8192-E, fill date August 1st. Aftertaste of rainwater. Damon Armstead or Chris Crawford. In white chalk. H2 8192-N, fill date September 8th. Sweet and fungal. Questions. Keith Guerin would have wanted it this way. In chalk. HT 8192-Q. Fill date September 9th. Maple/turpentine. Okay. Gravestone. Eddie Beale should have said something. Below the inscription. HT-8192-X. Fill date November 1st. Sense of foreboding. Gravestone. Unknown. Seems reasonable. In white chalk. HT-8192-Y. Fill date November 2. Easy on the nose. Let's talk to Junebug now. This creepy graveyard. Find any lizards? Let's see. Urza can say 1, but it went under a rock, or I wasn't really looking. So the first one. 1, but it went under a rock. That's lizards for you. Choices. Why do you dress like a punk? Do you have a family? Is that guy your boyfriend? What's the second one?
Do you have a family?
Well, I've got Johnny, the vicious cycle. I've got you folks right now. Is that a family? Let's call it what it is. Junebug and the people she surrounds herself with. See? It means something. It makes a claim. It's specific. Let's see. I want to be specific, or it sounds lonely.
I want to be specific.
I think you are. It's the middle of the night, and here you are in the graveyard. Any other kid your age would be in bed. You've just got to make choices and own them. You think I was born this, Foxy? I came off the assembly line with about half a foot shorter and all gray. No eyes. They were going to have us clearing out the old mine. Doesn't matter what you look like under all that rock and water, a bunch of gray shadows shoveling and hammering invisibly at the walls, draining the tunnels. Johnny found some old gear, an old tape player. We hid away in an underwater cave and listened to it over and over, and we knew we weren't miners. We slipped out onto the road, just these two featureless shadows, and ever since then we've been detailing, coloring in, specifying. I feel more like myself every day. Let's see. Urza can say, you with problems with options without music. Me? I would have problems with options without music? What do you mean? Let's see. I feel less like myself without my folks. I feel more like myself when it's just me and Julian. I think I should be a musician too. I don't know. Let's pick the second one. I feel more like myself when it's just me and Julian. Well, there you are. Getting specific. The options they're giving now? Oh, yeah. Without the music? Oh, yeah. The choices in the game is not one-dimensional. I'll give it that. It's definitely got a lot. Junebug says, there you are. What'd you find in there? It wasn't, in the beginning, you know what you wanted. Oh, I know. I'm literally like, I'm getting more and more like away from the ability to make choices, like with a clear head, than I am now. Like, I have no doubt that as the chapters continue, I will 100% have no idea what I'm doing, and my choices will start to seem more erratic. And I feel like that's kind of the game. It's just making me more erratic as we go. But we're piecing in the pieces. We piece in the pieces. Yeah, exactly. There it is. Yeah, I got you. I have it. Yeah, literally, like, I'm just getting more and more. What? Let's see. Hey, what's going on? You look flushed, old man. It doesn't matter. Right, okay. We got what we need, says Shannon. Let's go. All right, stuff happened, and they're not talking, which means things are going to go wrong. And there's 8 scenes in this act. We're 2 hours in. We're not even finished with Act 3 yet. At this rate, I might actually have to pick, like, tomorrow's stream. You're like, all right, we're finishing this tomorrow. Let's see. Donald says, singing softly, chase an orbit round the sky, and close your eyes with holy dread, for we on mold and whiskey fed, drank from rivers down below. Shannon interjects, we found your strangers. We know how to fix your darn machine, but I'm not sure it was worth it. Oh, soon the visions will return. What have you found? Apparently it made her very miffed. Shannon says they need you to type in a specific phrase to store it, they need you to unplug it for a while, or you need to scrape the mold off the timing crystal. Let's do the mold off the timing crystal. But the mold... Of course! Too much mold on the timing crystal would send the simulation adrift. Each moment lived out of sync. By all means, yes, clean the timing crystal. What, us? Oh. Alright, let's make our way to Xanadu. I'll turn up the volume here. I know there's sound. There we go. Also know I have chapstick here. Where is it? Here it is. We're going to Xanadu, right? Oh no, I clicked Xanadu. Are you sure that's the right answer? No. No, I do not. I know no idea what is the right answer. All I know is that we went to a graveyard where there was an old rickety church, and we went to go visit some strangers. We stayed outside with Junebug and talk with Urza, Ezra, and he looked at the gravestones, all of which seemed a little bit suspect, don't you think? And then Shannon and Conway came outside, and they seemed flushed and miffed, and Shannon is not happy with whatever went inside there, and I know we're not going to get any answers right away. Am I sure if this is the right answer? Not anymore. Not even a little bit. I'm not sure any of my answers up to this point have been ever the right answers. I'm fairly certain that everything I've ever said up to this point may have just as equally been wrong. And I am in my own little spiral. Alright, finally reached Xanadu. Alright. Why did you choose the mold? Because it was the most tangible option that makes sense. The idea that I would have to find a specific phrase from these people in the cave did not seem pleasant of an experience to me. And I don't remember what the other one was. I think it was like unplug it. You know, the old-fashioned turn it off, turn it on again. Which seemed like, yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, like, not 100% because this is clearly a computer. I picked mold because it seemed like the most likely option for something so alien. Clean it. The second one would have been turn it off and on again. I felt like if this is something that was going to be as philosophical as what he's been saying, the idea that we can capture the fantasies and memories and everything inside this computer, our artificial intelligence kind of scenario, the timing crystal seemed like a good idea. And since he was talking about mold so much and how much mold kind of seemed to rise to the occasion, so to speak, I thought mold was probably the cause of most of his issues. Since it didn't sound like he was doing anything with it. He said his pipe had mold in it. That generally seems like a bad idea to me. So I think if we really had to pick why that was the mold option, mold, generally bad, but for some reason these people seem to worship it. Clogging the timing crystal? I don't know what timing crystal is, but I know mold is bad, and clogged mold sounds terrible. And I also did not want to search for a specific phrase at all from these nut jobs in a cave. Yeah, they did mention it a lot. Okay, so Shannon says, do you see anything that looks like a timing crystal? Junebug replies, oh yeah, right here behind the control panel. It's filthy. Right, we're supposed to scrape off this black moldy stuff. Black mold, usually bad. Weird. Just following instructions. Here we go. Now, I will say this, Pedro, of all, scene 9, of all the choices, that one seemed like the most easy to come to a logical conclusion for. Just about every other choice, not so much. But if I had to choose anything, it's anything Ezra says, because Ezra is a child. And you can't go wrong with dialogue from a child. Elegant, lively synthesizer music. Xanadu. I guess I pushed this button. At the end of road. You are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. Has anyone played Zork before? So this is the intro to Zork. Except for they won't call it a small brick building. You are at a house. The forest is to your east. What do? Check the building. Check the forest. The last time I played Zork, I'll tell you my reasoning for this. The last time I played Zork, I checked the building, quite literally just explored the house. So we're gonna go to the forest this time. Urza, Ezra, go into the forest. Enter forest. That's not something you can enter. Just type a direction. You know, go north, go south, go east, go west, go left, go right. North. This is Zork. The first one. In forest. No, do I think it's the right answer? Probably not. But I did play Zork recently and I went to the house. So there we go. You are in an open forest, deep valley to one side. Ezra says, can we climb a tree? Climb tree. I don't think too much is to be achieved by that. Sorry. Ezra says, can we dig a hole? You can't see any such thing. Pretty limited vocabulary, says Shannon. So we're gonna go back to the house. South. You're in a forest. Hey, it's a maze. All right, let's go east. Oh, and am I making these corrections as I know it? No, I'm not sure I know if we've actually encountered a maze of some sort up to this point in a Zork-like fashion. You're in a forest. Lula is here, soldering replacement components in a small handmade radio. Oh, we should talk to her, says Shannon. Conway types, ask how Lula is doing. Hi, Donald. I'm getting the strangest interference out here. I've been tuning the radio circuits gradually as we go, swapping capacitor values and tweaking resistor networks. It was working for a while, but everything I can pick up sounds so distant and muffled. Lula hands you the radio. Well, maybe you'll have better luck. You're good at this stuff. Just don't forget to give it back. All right. Interesting. All right, which way, Pedro? South, east, northwest? I need to take a sip anyway. I shall not make these decisions alone. Let's see. Southeast, northwest. Well, if we go west, we go back the way we came. So let's keep going either east, north. Let's go east again. You're in a forest. Joseph is here, tapping with a small stylus on a modified pocket brailled slate. A small gray kitten, no more than a few weeks old, dozes comfortably on the top of his backpack. Maybe he has something to say, says Shannon. Listen, types Conway. Donald, I was just transcribing your footsteps. Sounded like... Joseph runs his finger along the index card he's been tapping on, from right to left. Long, weary song, drearily gone, dearly gone. You beat a melancholy shuffle through these woods, Donald. I've been noting down the sounds of the forest with an ear for speech. An inborn filter for poetry, I suppose. So maybe it's me being melancholy after all. I'm eager to see what the poetic subsystem makes of these punch cards. Well, so far we've contracted three of them, so let's go east again. At the edge of Hole. Did they just take Zork and be like, this is what we're going to do too? okay? You are at the edge of a massive hole. Dirt gives way to rock as the ground sinks into darkness. The computer tied to your upper back slickens with sweat in the afternoon sun. The rope slung around your shoulder has slipped under the strap of your backpack, digging uncomfortably against your collarbone. So Shannon's choice are go down into the hole, that seems pretty obvious. Shannon's second choice is lean in a bit and check it out. Ezra's choice is yell into the hole first and see if there are pirates. And because Ezra said so, that's what we're going to choose. Conway types yell. Xanadu says, I only understood you as far as wanting to yell. Yell, any pirates down there? No response. Sorry, kid, you're batting 0 today. Well, at least we know there's no pirates. He's got a point. So now we're going to lean in and check it out. Conway types down. Let's see. The cave walls are too slick to climb down safely without assistance. You lose your footing and fall to your death. I said check it out, Conway. I said lean. Rip. Go me. Your score was 0 out of a possible 8,192. Oh, that is the number for all of the deaths in the graveyard. All those gravestones that we saw. Wait a second. There was a 0. There was an 8191 in amongst that. So there was one moment when there was only 891 choices. Achievement unlocked. You died. What? Says Shannon. You may continue or quit. We continue because that's the essence of Zork. Well, I'm going to use the rope this time. I did not tell him to type down, Shannon. Ugh. Try using the rope to climb down safely. Tie rope to tree, types Conway. The rope is tied snugly to a tree. Down. Your feet slip a few times on the slimy rock, but you remain stable. Lula and Joseph descend carefully after you. In bed quilt. This looks like the cave we stopped into at the beginning. You are in bed quilt, a long east-west passage with holes everywhere. Lula and Joseph remove the computer equipment they are carrying on their backs and begin setting up. That's the left strip, so everything's down here now. That's the last thing we heard in one of those tapes in the very first in stream number 3. Let's see. Shannon says, say something back to her. You make an awkward joke. Don't be so morbid, says Joseph. Lula looks pensive. Junebug says, what's the gear they're carrying? Shannon says, ask her about the cave. Ezra says, ask her where the treasure is. And because Ezra is the one asking, that's the first thing we ask. Conway types, ask Lula where the treasure is. Ha! If we knew that, we wouldn't have set up down here. I know you think this environment will help our project get us in touch with a deep romantic reverence for some kind of profound natural spookiness, but I was more comfortable in our lab. The university picked the worst time to cut our funding. Typical institutional stinginess in academic politics. I mean, I felt like we were really getting close to something. Something. Anyway, I don't know if it's sustainable down here, you know, to live and work down here together. Junebug or Shannon? I guess we'll ask her about the cave. Conway types, ask Lula about cave. Having second thoughts? I don't blame you. It's unsettling down here. Weird acoustics. Earlier, as we were climbing down, I thought I heard voices for a moment. Or, not voices themselves, but the echoes of voices. Singing. Some kind of eerie, tuneless working song. I'm glad I'm not down here alone. Joseph looks uncomfortable. Jealous? Says Junebug. Hey, Donald, can you help me, wire up these generators? I'll assemble the synthesizer, but I could use some help with the serial interface if you have time. Xanadu says you hear an unfamiliar echo from the tunnel to the east. Let's see. We have wire up the generators, or maybe if we help Lula, she'll have some more to tell us. Let's wire up the generators. I have a feeling that there's no light. Conway types help Joseph. I appreciate it, Donald. I'm not much of an electrician, you know? You know that. Joseph hands you a bundle of wires. His kitten curls up on a spool of cabling. Listen, the three of us had a good thing going for a minute, wouldn't you say? Up at the old place before it got ugly? I'm saying we came down here to work, to really do it. Xanadu. And we've got to be rational about this. All three of us have got to put our feelings aside for a bit and be rational. Do you know what I'm saying? Shannon says, choice one, is he talking about Lua? Kind of creepy. Or, just agree with whatever he's saying, this isn't helpful. Yeah, I'd go with that one. Conway types agree with Joseph. Joseph sets down the wire strippers in his hand. You really mean that? You're pretty okay, Donald. I mean, you have a clear idea on what's sensible. We're on unmapped territory here. Strange to the whole thing. Gotta have focus. She'll understand. You are interrupted by the ominous echo of grating, scraping from the scene to the east, louder than before. What the hell was that? Let's check it out. In tunnels. Also, I don't know what answers I'm supposed to be getting from this. You rush down the tunnel with Joseph and Lula close behind. Shannon can say, that got kind of intense back there. Or Junebug can say to Ezra, how do you like all of this, kid? I like this one, because he talks to Ezra. Let's see, Ezra can say kind of boring, but I like boring stuff sometimes. Or that's a lot of reading, but I'm really good at it anyway. Alright, Ezra, I'll make you enjoy Zork. That's a lot of reading, but I'm really good at that anyway. Xanadu says, the tunnel narrows and soon you find yourself crawling on your hands and knees. Navigating the tunnel gradually becomes more awkward as smooth rock gives way to jagged, crystalline surfaces. Scratches and taps echo from the end of the tunnel, some sort of short piercing, some slower and groaning as if dampened by water. The tunnel opens into a large room. In Crystal Room. There are people here. You are in a large, irregular chamber. The walls, floor, and ceiling are covered with crystalline projections. Strangers are here, scraping black mold from the crystals. They look up when you enter. One of them seems about to speak. Ezra says, finally! Junebug can say, better run. Or Shannon can say, let's listen to what he says. And I'm one to listen. If they're not actively about to kill me, we listen. The stranger reaches for a box he's carrying and presses a plastic button. The box whirs to life and a crackly verse blurts out something unintelligible, then slows to a deep gurgle. He looks at his companions momentarily in confused disappointment. Then he returns his awful gaze to you. Joseph flees through a tunnel in the north. Lula flees through a tunnel to the northeast. Let's follow Lula. Run north. Lula's headlamp scans across the northern passage as you run. Soft shadows loom perplexingly from floor to ceiling. You feel around to distinguish shadows from crystals, but eventually find yourselves cornered. You have hit a dead end. Who are they? Shannon can comfort her, or Shannon says, let's find a way out of here. I'm for the let's find a way out of here. Less talking, more moving. Escape, says Conway. That's not a verb I recognize. Typing. Look for escape. You can't see any such thing. They do look like skeletons, but I'm kind of hoping that maybe it's just the geometric figures that this computer seems to be taking.
Listen, I think they've gone back to work. They seem strange somehow. Maybe they've forgotten about us. All right, let's try to pass them quickly. And don't make eye contact. Then we'll find our way back to the equipment.
In bed quilt. You are in bed quilt, a long east-west passage with holes everywhere. Lula is here, panting for breath.
Did they follow us? Where's Joseph?
Shannon says she seems pretty scared. Shannon says may as well wait. Junebug suggests searching for him. Let's see. I'm going with Junebug on this one. Type. Search. I only understood you as far as wanting to search, says Xanadu. We have to be more specific, cries Shannon. Let's see. Search. With the equipment? Oh, sorry. The choices are down one of the tunnels, with the equipment, or back outside. I'm going with the equipment because I imagine there must be a tracking system to get through a cave, because who would not bring tracking for a cave? Search equipment. The various computer and audio equipment casts angular shadows into the tunnels as you scan slowly across the pile. Nothing. So we have options now of down one of the tunnels or back outside. I guess we go down one of the tunnels because that's where he went. Search tunnel. You select the tunnel at random. Your lantern illuminates several sets of footprints on the moldy cave floor, but they are impossible to identify. Joseph climbs down from the rope still tied above. That darn sound, those darn voices. I don't even know what direction I was running. I wove through the network of tunnels. I ran my hand along the raw, always turning left, but every rock felt the same. For all I knew, I was running in circles. Finally, I ended up here. And I hid. I panicked. I heard you talking, but I didn't think I could trust my senses. But listen, there's one thing I have to tell you. While I was out there lost in the tunnels and caves, I came across the Zero, and I had no idea. It's like a real place. They pick up garbage, they deliver mail, they go to work and to church, but it has a kind of emptiness. Wandering through, I heard horrible echoes. Weird images got burned into my mind's eye. A television, a scarecrow, a crystal, a feather, a sandwich, a CRT monitor, a bottle, an anchor. All of those were when we take those paths. That's what we were looking at to get from one place to another. Lula looks down at her feet. Let's see, we can ask him more about the stuff he saw, or we can see what's up with Lula. What's up with Lula? She seems sus.
Nothing. Just... Joseph, you sound disturbed.
Lula, you've heard the same stories I have. It doesn't matter now. I'm leaving. To hell with all of it. Junebug says, whoa, we should stop him. Or get him back. Shannon says, get him back on track. We're so close. I think we should probably get him back on track. If we try to stop him, I imagine he'll probably try to shoot us, because anyone that goes into disturb mode, not listening to that. Typing. Divert Joseph's attention. You shout something at Joseph about the project you are working on together. You'll die in those cold caves. And what about those men? You know they'll come back. Oh, and that's where the fire starts. Tell him we can find somewhere to start a fire, or tell him we can hide from the strangers. Fire, since there's that big bonfire at the front. Suggest finding somewhere to start a fire. You shout something at Joseph about going deeper into the caves. Did you hear the voices? They'll find you. But not me. I'm going back to the surface.
Stop! Your stupid fight is ringing through the whole darn cave. Joseph is right. We can't stay here. I'm leaving too. But I'm not going back to the surface. I'm taking the station wagon and I'm heading down to the Zero.
We heard this. We heard this in the beginning of Act 1. Shannon says, I think we need her to stay, or Junebug says, whoa, don't let her leave us here. I'll go Shannon's route. Ask Lula to stay. You plead with Lula about your continued collaboration.
I'll send you this tape when I'm done recording. I'll put it in with the mail. Then you can see what your darn machine does with it.
Lola and Joseph have left. So is this the machine that we saw in the thing? Because that was the tape that she had, right? When we remember? Abandoned by your collaborators, your confidants, your companions, the only two among your colleagues with whom you ever trusted the gift of your friendship. Pretty thick. Sounds like old Beardo had his heart broken. You wandered the tunnels alone, dragging the components of your unrealized masterpiece, combing the underground passages for new sight to realize your vision. Junebug says sardonically. Sounds like a genius. Yeah, I know, right? How do you mean? Says Shannon. Wordy, or vain? Wordy. Shannon says, I had a guy come into the shop with a bunch of old radios and computers and stuff. Real junk. I think he collected it going down alleys or something. Anyway, it was all broken. He asked me if I could get the tubes out and clean them up. The vacuum tubes. So I pulled out every vacuum tube I could find and threw the rest out. And I went over them with some rubbing alcohol and cleaned the leads. I used nail polish remover for the glass. I did a pretty good job. He came back the next day and I laid it all out in a towel for him to check it out. I got the towel from my Aunt Remedios. Like, everything was with her. It was kind of nice, you know? It's red. It has gold embroidery around the edges. I guess it was a little too nice. This guy got all excited by the presentation and kind of circled it and observed each tube from a distance, moving his head in a weird, quick bobs like a pigeon. And then he started lecturing at nobody about the history of vacuum tubes. He talked for an hour. Went on a few dates, but nothing really came of it. Turns out he was kind of boring. The fact that you went on dates with him, Shannon, why? Hall of the Mountain King. And this is that hall that we found earlier. After what may have been years, you stumble out of a tunnel into an open cavernous space. Stalactites adorn the ceilings like grotesques. In the center of a room is an enormous rocky spire. This is where you will set up your equipment and establish your legacy. Xanadu. Now is the time to continue your work. Research assistance, 0. Realism index, 37%. Romance index, 2%. Mold coverage, 0%. You may hire a new research assistant, assign assistance to a task, or sleep until tomorrow. I guess we'll assign the ones we currently have. I'm not going to hire a new assistant to come down into this location because that sounds awful. Assign. You currently have no available research assistants to assign. Well, I guess we're hiring one then, aren't we? Hire. Uploading job advertisement to university message boards. You have hired Roberta, who studies fairy tales. Oh, we met Roberta. Let's assign her to a task, shall we? She got assigned to debugging. Assigning available research assistant to debugging. Alright. Hire a new assistant. Uploading job advertisements to university message boards. No new applicants. Try again later. I guess sleep? Time passes. Roberta identifies a bug with the oxygen level simulation, but is unable to fix it. Now is the time to continue your work. Alright. Now we'll hire a new assistant, because apparently that's something we have to do. Uploading job. You have hired Greg, who studies architecture. We haven't met Greg. Uh... We met Amy, and we met Roberta. Was Greg the one in the center? The architecture? Let's talk. Yeah. Oh, that must have been Greg. Transcription. He was the one that was writing everything. One. I guess we'll hire another one. We'll assign a research assistant to debugging. I guess we'll sleep. Roberta fixes some weird math with some weirder math. Greg extensively notes the tunnel diameter as a function of length. Greasy black mold is collecting on the computer equipment. Now is the time to continue the work. Alright, so we're going to hire another one. Because there's one more research assistant. I clicked the wrong button. We've hired Weaver. Ooh, Weaver's here. And speculation. I guess we'll sleep now. Time passes. Roberta makes adjustments to the echolocation algorithm. Bats now fly normally instead of getting hung up on each other's wings and clustering like horrible leathery tumbleweeds. Weaver sets up some lurid imagery from a dream journal. Greg makes a convincing argument for the edibility of stone. Intruder alert. Strangers are doing something to the equipment, but you can't make out what. You hide behind a rock until they leave. With trepidation, you emerge from your hiding place hours later. Now is the time to continue your work. Shannon, I agree with you. She says, I'm not convinced this is getting us any closer to the zero. Research assistants. Let's see what happens if I do this one more time. There should be one more. Trying an error. Yeah, pretty much. We've hired Andrew. Let's try sleeping one more time, see what we come up with. Weaver widens the tunnel slightly to reduce the need for extra crouch commands. Roberta fixed the bugs. Andrew summarizes the migratory patterns of bats through the tunnels. And Greg posits that nature, not reason, is the master of industry. Weaver follows the strangers into the tunnels. She doesn't return, but neither do they. So she's gone now. All right, one more time. Sleep. Time passes. Marianne fixes some bugs. Carefully transcribes the sound of dripping water and all their variations over a period of several hours. Roberta transcribed experiences. Andrew discards centuries of exhausted data on the uniformity and cause of the effect. Greasy black mold is collected on the computer equipment. Now it's time to continue your work. Maybe we should try starting over somehow. This doesn't seem to be helping. I don't know. Okay, fine. We'll stop here. Try and quit to start over. Ezra says, I want to keep playing. I don't know. We've done this like 6 times. I'm here, like, what? We've actually gone. Like, at this point, we know that there's a lot that's happening there. Quit. Yes. That was a rhetorical question. Quit game? I only understood you as far as wanting to quit. Maybe we have to lose or die somehow in order to start over? Ezra says, eat the lamp! Conway types, eat lamp. Don't be ridiculous, says Xanadu. Shannon says maybe we have to wait it out or we can keep playing. I'm like, maybe we have to wait it out. Wait indefinitely. Time passes. Research assistants come and go. You don't encounter the strangers again, but sometimes you can hear the uncanny voices of their voices off in the tunnels. Years pass, mold accumulates. You and the remaining research assistants take to burning disused equipment in the center of the room. Black mold is intensely flammable and makes excellent catalyst. It leaves behind a sweet, narcotic fume. One night you have visitors, outsiders, different ones. Then, later that night, an old friend.
You really did go deeper into the caves.
Premature end the file. Press any key to quit. Huh. So Lula actually came back at some point. Act 3, Scene 10. Hall of the Mountain King. Holy mackerel, there's Lula right there. Lula says to Donald, you really did go deeper into the caves.
Well, you were easy enough to find. I've met a few of your former assistants. One can't help but hear things. So this is what became of our project.
Oh, I've made some additions. Joseph stole the data tapes for the first half, so I've made blank spots to fill.
Yes, I know. He published his version, actually. I'm sorry to report it's a bit tediously sentimental.
Shannon can say we've been looking for you or we found your doctor. I didn't know we were looking for her, so I'll go with we found your doctor.
Oh, good. Yes, you're looking not well, to be honest. You smell like a distillery. Have you been drinking?
Shannon looks uneasily at Conway, or Conway looks at the floor, or Shannon just says, we've been looking for you.
So, you found the address data. Just pass it over to Donald there. Donald, will you be a dear and crunch these numbers? We're looking to sort out a street name collision, Dogwood Drive.
Shannon says, wasn't the Bureau going to process it, or how long does it take? How long does this take? We've been at this for almost 3 hours.
Oh, I should only be an hour or so. Andrew will carry it over to...
I'll be at the Bureau for the rest of the night. Just mark it private materials for the attention of Senior Clerk Chamberlain.
How do we get to the Bureau from here? Says Conway.
The bridge!
Yes, the bridge. Through the gate over there.
Donald says sentimentally,
Now we too recede into history.
Good night, Donald.
To Shannon, she says,
meet me at the Bureau and we'll get you on your way. Head counterclockwise to the cathode ray, then turn around. It's just clockwise until you find the Bureau. Between us, I think you should drive,
she says to Shannon. Okay, so, let's go to the gate. Whew. There's Roberta, the fairy tale person. There's the gate we're going to. Where did Johnny go? We just kind of eliminated Johnny from the process. Okay. What would you give, please? So there's Shannon. There's Conway. There's Junebug. There's a tape recorder, which I don't remember. Someone has left a portable tape recorder on the path. It doesn't appear damaged, but there's no tape to play. Oh, I think we passed all this already. I remember. Oh wait, no, this lantern's new. A sensible modern electric lantern has been left there. The batteries have long since died. We now talk to Blue. Because that's what we do. All the time. Oh, Johnny just sitting by Blue. Oh! I was like, where did Johnny even go? Let's see. We'll go with choice 1. Choice 2. And... choice 1. Thanks for waiting, Blue, says Shannon. We were gone a bit longer than expected. Ran into some trouble, Blue. I won't lie to you. We talked to Johnny. Johnny says, what happened up there? Junebug says, I'm not really sure, or just a bunch of computers. I'm going with my honest opinion. I'm not actually sure. Very mysterious, ma'am. Yep, let's get on the road. Heading to the cathode. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay, well, apparently we... Oh, Shannon's driving. Okay, cool. I'm fine. Okay, so now we just head to the cathode ray. And then when we do, we turn around to the 65. And then it's just counterclockwise until we get to the bureau. I think. The bicycle. The feather. The wheelbarrow. How is this not the 0 by itself? Alright, we made it to the bureau. Here we go. Alright, Shannon. Answer my questions. And no one gets hurt. Or something. And we talk to Blue, like we always do. Let's see. First we'll take choice 2. Then we'll do choice 2. And then we'll do choice 2. Johnny says, hey, to Blue. Oh, hey, do you see that cat over there? Think she eats some bread? Maybe we should leave a crust or two just to... And she'll go for it when she's more comfortable. Alright, so now we head to reception. Because heaven knows we've been on this route for 3 hours. We click the bell. Oh, it's Lula. Hey.
Here you are. Marianne has the rest of the evening off, so I'm minding the desk.
Alright, so Shannon can say you're not too busy, any word on the address, or nice place from Junebug. Shannon, any word on the address?
The results just came in by courier. Good news. Donald and his assistants were able to sort through the noise. I had Rick cross-reference their results against some of our records. He found a corresponding mail stop on Echo River route. As it happens, the night ferry is scheduled to make its stop there shortly. The ferryman carries the mail and collects the garbage as well. I'm sure you can catch a ride out that way. You're welcome to wait here. I have to get back to packing.
Wait, packing for what? Are you going somewhere?
I might. I'm feeling impulsive, and I'd like to be ready. Maybe back to Mexico. It's been years. They still have one of my sculptures in the museum down there, did you know? Big, ugly iron thing. Time to have it scrapped anyway. Safe travels. Try to stay out of the water. It's colder than it looks. And deep.
Okay. We wait for the ferryman.
How long do we have to wait?
Oh, who knows, says Conway. All right, what happened, says Junebug. Shannon says, what? Nothing, or she says to Conway, up to you. Apparently, we really do need to know. So Shannon will say, up to you, Conway. It's okay, you can tell him. It doesn't matter anymore. Fine. So we were in that graveyard. What? Why don't we get the information? I want the information. Scene 12. This is a very long play. By the way, if an act actually had 12 scenes in it that are about this length, this would constitute Act 3, the play. Night insects are chirping softly. All right, we're going to get the perspective from them. Here we go. Well, this can't be right. Looks like an old church. Conway had said, remember? It's muddy. Yeah, that's what he said. Crystals, then mud. Okay. Ezra says, I want to stay outside. And Conway had said, if you recall, why? I think I saw a lizard. And then Junebug said, I'll stay with him. Okay, we'll make it quick, said Shannon, and then they went into the church, which is where we will go now. But I redone the chapter 1. As far as like actually being a play? Oh, I just meant like if length, as far as length of this thing. So Act 3 has 12 rather lengthy scenes. Technically speaking, Act 3 would be its own actual play. Like if you were to like do things by time, this would be like, you know, a third play in a sequence of plays. It's not a short act by any stretch. Like Act 1 kind of sort of short, Act 2 more short. So Act 1 and 2 would be like a play length play. Act 3 by itself is literally almost 3 hours long. That is a play length in a theater. All right. So we have the church floor is cold metal scuffed in Fleck's unknown boot heels. There's still a handmade apparatus for the production of moonshine assembled from scavenged metal and natural materials. All right. So that's it. I guess we'll sit. Shannon says, I don't know what I expected. Conway can say the strangers or another dead end. He's probably going to say the strangers. So Conway says, the strangers, he kept saying. Kind of vague already, isn't it? Donald's a stranger. Heck, you and I are practically strangers. Listen, earlier in the mine, I didn't want to talk about it, but... Oh, that's right. The very first time we met them when she was in the mine, in the first incarnation of Act 1, when it was still limits and demonstrations, she found something. She didn't want to talk about it then. So let's see. What did you find down there? When I saw Weaver, she was on TV. I was testing a pretty simple tube repair, flipping through channels to check on the saturation, and she was just there. It was kind of horrible. I mean, I told you she disappeared suddenly, ran away, but we thought. Conway can say you thought she was dead, or what was she doing on the TV? We'll finish the sentence. You thought she was dead. Yeah, I guess I don't like to say it. Dead. And then the next time I flipped to channel 2, Weaver. It's burned in my vision now. She's standing in a room. The walls are blank and kind of gray. There's tape on the walls, like markings, and desks. A classroom, maybe. The camera is in the corner, so it's sort of like 45-degree angled into the room, and Weaver's right in the center of that picture. I stopped turning the dial. Heck, I think I stopped breathing. Eventually she spoke, but there was no real sound, just this awful hum. Then I read the closed captions. She said to go to the mine. I'd find something there. I can't remember her exact words. Whenever I try, I get distracted, fuzzy. Shannon coughs into her sleeves. It's so dusty in here, right? Conway says, yeah, real dusty, or I hadn't noticed. Yeah, real dusty. You'd think with all the holes in the ceiling. A deep mechanical rumble. What the hell was that? Did you hear that? Let's see. We must have been the church settling, or we should check outside. Mechanical does not mean church settling, so we should check outside. We should. And then the seat gets pulled like an elevator into the underground. Oh, you're right, Pedro. These are skeletons. The stranger activates a tape player sung on his shoulder. I see. A crackly drawl echoes into the room. It is patient and sounds like it should be smiling. Doolittle says, my regrets. I hope I haven't kept you waiting long. We don't see a lot of foot traffic these days. I guess you're here about the job. I'm afraid we only have one opening at the moment. Horrible business. Choices. Conway can say, what is this job? 2, we're actually looking for some information about an old computer. Or 3, do you know how to get to the bureau from here? No need for that one. So let's do... what is this job? Certainly, I'll tell you everything you need to know. I've only just met you, but I'm certain there's a place for you here. I'll just take you over to meet the dispatcher, show you the trucks, get you familiarized. We can converse as we go. Shannon says to Conway, what is this place? Conway can say some kind of factory, or, well, it's not an old church. Let's go with factory. It looks factory, though these look like pews, honestly. Yeah, maybe, but for what? Why is it hidden away like this? And what's that smell? Like bread. Baking bread? Please follow me, says Doolittle. The tape recorder stops playing. Doolittle says, I have to ask you to step in here a moment. This is for your safety and adjust your outfits a bit. There's some protective headwear on the wall back there. Please remove your shoes and eyeglasses. Let's see. Shannon says, I'm not taking off my shoes. Or choice 2, we don't wear glasses, from Conway. I'm probably on Shannon's side. I'm not taking off my shoes. Oh, I understand. It's only a courtesy to... well, do us a favor and put on the headwear anyway. Just this way. Alright, so now we have construction hat headway, it looks like. Follow the skeleton. Yeah. Nothing can go wrong. Shannon says, wow, check this stuff out. It must be decades old, but in perfect condition. Let's see. How do you think they keep it like that? Maintenance, old man. I bet it's someone's job around here. Probably hard to keep all the dust out, you know? Underground. That's why I got into this business, to keep old stuff like this running. Seems like it's a shame to let it fall into ruin, you know? Like that computer bin in the cave, Xanadu. Decades of engineering, thousands of mechanics and philosophy, all petrified into living stone? How could you let it fall apart? We show her the Doolittle says, more new arrivals this evening, plenty to do, got to relay the formula. Conway can ask, what job are they working? Shannon can ask, we actually just need to ask you about a computer. Or, what formula? What formula? Oh, the formula changed our lives. Once, years ago, we were prisoners to the intricacies of our debts here. Oh, we have to account for everything on paper. Compounding interest by hand, reassessing amortization, leverage assets distribution according to the nightly merit decay. Then she stepped out of the dark caves to show us the light of the formula. She had a brilliant grasp of mathematics and a saint-like way of speaking right through the numbers. Now we just plug our daily numbers into the formula and run it all through the adding machine. We occasionally suffer some surplus drift, but she instructed us on all the necessary adjustments. It was devastating to see our revered mathematician go, but she was needed elsewhere, and her legacy abides. They're talking about Weaver. Also, there was something about they said here. Prisoners to the intricacies of our debts. I think... Is this the whiskey factory? You know, where Harry sold the Hard Times whiskey? Sold people with debts to him? I don't hold me to it, but I think these are the patrons from that place right here. Ooh. Did they unprisoner themselves from the debts because they're now skeletons? What job are they working, says Conway. Oh, I know everything's connected. I'm just saying, I'm like surprised that I'm seeing it, but I'm not surprised that I'm seeing it. Does that make sense? Doolittle says, oh, I don't know. It's been settled yet. You see, sometimes we take on newcomers already in debt to the distillery. One of the foremen will find something for them to do, chip away their sum until it's all settled. That's what I'm doing here. Chipping away. That's what we're all doing. Is that my truck? Here are the shuttles. Here's the fleet. Oh, we just use these to get around internally. How big is this place? Oh, it's grown a great deal over the years. Incredible to think, really. When Mr. Bishop founded this operation, it was only about 1,800 square feet, and half of that was more occupied by camouflage to keep the law out. Hiding out in the back of an old church purifying spirits by handmade fire, a kettle, and a dream. So, the trucks are just east this ways with shipping. You can become acquainted with the dispatcher there. Give me a tap on the shoulder if you see something that catches your eye. Always happy to show off the facility's sublime machinery. Okay, so we can't go that way. We have to go this way. Yeah. Eerie jazz plays on the radio. Like Danny Elfman? Because that would make some sense. There's a truck. Here it is. Now I have to ask, as a matter of course, what kind of experience do you have with driving trucks? Conway says, I used to drive deliveries for an antique shop until his last run, or I used to drive long hauls.
Aha, precious cargo. You'll do just fine. And you can drive safely, can't you? I haven't any doubt. Now it's only after what happened with Miguel this evening.
Shannon can say, what happened with Miguel this evening? Or Conway can just say, I've been driving my whole life, for better or for worse. Nope. What happened with Miguel?
Well, the dust is still clearing, of course. Perhaps he closed his eyes a moment or simply hit a curve too devilish. I do pity the ill-fated Miguel. He was good company and slow to anger, but if we're speaking confidentially, with all that product to be repaid, bourbon, glass dash across the interstate, and a few casks too, we're all thankful he had no next of kin. So, let's see if we can bring up the dispatcher.
Is that the tree he bumped into? Doolittle starts the truck and switches on the CB radio. A deep, monotonous voice drones from the speaker. The dispatcher says, 10:20 on that load, come back. Radio voice 1 says, up in the Hummingbird Cave, 10:12, City Kitty. Doolittle into the radio says,
this is a good time, dispatch. We may have found Miguel's replacement. I thought you might like to get acquainted.
Dispatcher says, 10:09, come again.
Doolittle says, introduce yourself.
Conway says, hello, or pleased to meet you, or
Tell the dispatch something impressive about yourself. They're very well regarded here.
At some point we have to tell them that we're not really here. Let's see, I guess I could drive a truck like this. I'm not really here for a job. Or you folks know anything about a motor computer? Let's do that one. You folks, 99 wheel holder, we gotta pay the water bill.
Ah, so I'm certain they'll call back before long. Let's take a look around the truck, eh?
Ah. Headlights seem to be working.
Headlights work fine, see?
He fiddles with the controls.
That's important. Most of our product goes out at night. You'll never know who you run into in daylight, and dusk can be treacherously misleading without that indirect light. The magic hour.
Which is true. Actually, Twilight's magic hour is quite deceptive, and it can cause a lot of problems for sleepy drivers. Let's see, drivers sleep in the day then?
Sure, those that sleep. Miguel pulled all extra day shifts when he could. Sometimes he'd help me, sometimes over in bottling. He shouldn't have been out driving at dusk. Weird shadows, soft light, dangerous.
Let's see, headlights look pretty okay, or Conway had to get off the highway too loud, too murky. Headlights look okay.
That they do. Moving on. Control the Vipers with this knob here. They seem to have a decent torque to them. Can't say how they'd fare in an ice storm, but we never delay a shipment. Better to assume the risk.
You folks watch the weather closely, or clear skies always down here? Let's do number 1, because honestly, we did a whole chapter based off of rain one time.
I wouldn't know it if I saw it. 2 years of climate control. Have I mentioned that rarely if I leave our facility, I wouldn't know rain if it drowned me?
I'm sure their wipers are fine.
Of course. What else then? Oh, sure. I know you want to kick the tires. That's the thing we do, isn't it?
Actually, it's one of the circle checks you're supposed to do is kick the tires. Not like it actually helps anyway, but you do it just in case.
As though our knees could exert a kind of force these tires would see out there on the road. We're more likely to hurt ourselves. Isn't that the way?
Sure, they're big machines, but they can be fragile.
Oh, absolutely. A truck deserves care and fearful respect, like a glass elephant. Miguel was a good driver, but he didn't have that quality of deference.
What kind of man was Miguel, says Conway.
As I always say of him, he was good company. Many of us have found ourselves in his position, arrogantly grasping at personal sovereignty when our lives become unmanageable. There's no shame in it, only condolence. Now, what else can I show you?
I guess let's look at the back.
Looks like it's just about ready to go out. We have some good, strong folks shipping here, so you never need to worry about loading if you don't want to. Bit hard in the back and the knees at our age, eh? Of course, you have to unload at the destination, but that's the job. Some drivers get a little extra shift of stacking and loading here.
Conway, you should not be doing lifting these days.
I see. Well, I'm surely we can spare a dolly and carrying strap for your health and safety.
Sounds like a lot of work around here.
It's in our interest, friend. After all, we must meet our financial obligations.
Back to the radio. Someone's got to listen to us saying that we don't actually want a job. Dispatcher says, driver, come back.
Ah, there's the dispatch. Now, tell them about your experience. Tell them about the truck's in good shape. Tell them that you'll start in the morning.
I really can't. Yeah, we've got to finish this delivery, and a few... Radio voice number 2 says, 10:33, dispatch, we got 2 black eyes and a flock of crocodiles. Come back. Dispatcher says, 10-4, back it down and prick your eyelids, driver. Come back, Lem.
Doolittle says, 10-4.
Come back, wheel holder. Let's see, he can say 10-4 or remain silent. We don't work there. Technically speaking, it would be bad juju.
Doolittle says to Conway, dispatch is addressing you. He's here, dispatch.
Got your ears on? Good. Listen to this. Then silence.
Doolittle says, so, I think that went well. Let's head back up to the logistics and then seal the deal, eh? I've got one more thing to show you.
No one is going to be listening to the fact that apparently we do not actually want to work here. I guess we'll go back to park.
Doolittle says, let's head back upstairs, eh? I have one more thing to show you.
Wait! We only came here looking for answers about the stupid moldy computer.
Oh, the old man in the cave with the moldy computer. That black mold is drawn into whiskey. It feeds on ethanol fumes, you see. As we age the whiskey, some of it inevitably evaporates into the air. The angel share, which is true. It goes through the vents here and out into the caves. If we can scrape up that mold, we can usually apply some pressure and cold to it, squeeze it, and condense the angel share back into drinkable whiskey. Every drop counts when you're making a living on the stuff. So if we go down and scrape it off its equipment, just like any other place it grows. He kept sending his people to drive us away. Paranoid. Truly paranoid. But now that we have the formula, we don't need to go collecting mold. Since we stopped going down there, I'm sure the mold's gotten pretty thick. Try cleaning off the timing crystal. That'll get you going, I'm sure of it. So, join me upstairs.
What, like here? We can leave now, right?
If you don't mind.
If I don't mind what? If you don't mind what? Yeah. Alright, here's the adding machine.
Here it is, a beauty, wouldn't you say? It's an antique, you know.
Oh, what is it?
Why, it's an adding machine. This is where we come for our daily ritual to calculate the day's interest and repayment according to the formula. I usually do so at the beginning of my shift, so I know how many hours I need to keep up. Yes, I believe you'll do well, sir, here. I'm happy to have you. Congratulations, you're hired.
Wait, says Shannon, we can't.
It's customary here to start each day with a shift drink. Let's make it special, mark the occasion. This is top shelf stuff now. Single barrel.
He doesn't.
Down the hatch. Vine murmure mors.
I don't want to drink. Oh no! No, 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 no! No, 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 my mouse it's moving my mouse for me. Stop! No, 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 no. No! No, it took my mouse control from me. Decent enough. Welcome aboard. He's not working for you. We have to get back to this. He has a delivery to make. What's this? Not working? Are you turning down this opportunity?
She's right. I have to make this, I'm disappointed. And I'm afraid it lives with a delicate problem. As I indicated, this is top shelf stuff you're drinking now. It isn't cheap. If it's not your first shift drink, well, and as a matter of this tour just now, my time and experience are billed at quite a premium. This is not good for you, my friend. You're in quite deep by my back-of-the-envelope ambitions. We have that in common, I suppose, all of us. Yes, I'm afraid you'll have to work this off somehow. It's just the way of it.
What's happening right now?
You can start tomorrow. Take time to settle your affairs, of course. The interest begins to compound immediately and, well, we'll go over the formula when you get here. I should get back to work. See you tomorrow then.
Oh, he got tricked. And it took my mouse from me. Rude. Okay, now I can see why they're mad.
So I guess I start in the morning.
I guess. I'm confused.
It's just the way these things go, kid.
Huh. Well, that gives us a few hours to roam, right? Where's that ferry? Says Junebug. Ever the realist. That's so sad. That is a mammoth. We are all confused. Or no one's making it out of this alive. Oh my god, we finally made it to the end of Act 3. I am so nervous to try to get to Act 4. Because I am on fire. I'm very, very warm. All right, let me see. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to continue into Act 4 and hope that it's not that long. Because technically speaking, we have 3 more of these. We have this dot, this dot, this dot. It will be long. That's what I was thinking too. Okay, so what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm probably going to do this again on next week, starting in 2023. We will continue the story. We're going to keep doing it. It might, I don't know if it's going to be on Wednesday or Sunday. I have to work it out with Drake first to see what's coming up on January 1st. So definitely come back to it either January 1st or next Wednesday. If I decide to do a tomorrow stream, it's not going to be this. It's probably going to be something that's not nearly as intense. Probably something just fun, just to kind of be like I told K-Dog earlier in this chat, or in the Discord, I generally just watch like Twilight Zone movies on New Year's Eve, and so I was like, oh, what happens if we play like something on Saturday? But it's not going to be Kentucky Zero Dawn, or Kentucky Road Zero. So we'll be back with this either on Sunday or next Wednesday. Either way, we will continue the story because whoo the natty, I am lost. But this is fun. Thank you all very much for joining. I appreciate it. Let me see. If you don't have anyone that you would like to raid, I will pick one here. And we'll go to them. Let's see. Who's got what? That's not. Felicia Day is playing Bear and Breakfast. Girl, I played that and 100%ed it. Get out. Shoot. I got this. Leave those indies to us. Let's see. Pick there. What do you mean? You have... Oh, you mean pick Noichan? Or here, there, and along the echo. Petra. I'm good with doing Noichan again. I was just seeing if there was anyone else that was... Yeah, I was going to see if I had anyone else that was available that wasn't doing something like Fortnite or Apex Legends. Or just chatting stream. No, a lot of them seem to be doing mostly those. So we'll go ahead and do Noi. We'll go into Noi chat again. The one whose emote you just used, she just got offline, so unfortunately she's not there. Alright, so let's do Noi-chan. Oh, raid. Raid. Alright. So with that, thank you very much for joining. I will see you again next week. Or no, I'll see you again. I'll probably do something tomorrow that'll be super fun. Just kind of like a super relaxed thing until like people decide to pass out or something like that. Other than that, thank you very much for joining, and we'll be back with this next week. Have a safe weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, I hope to see you in 2023. Have a wonderful and safe Happy New Year.